Thanks for being here. Welcome back. If you've joined us in the past, welcome back. Say hi to Bill Squire. He's right over there.
Hey, creepy hugs.
Speaking of welcome back, Mary Santora is back.
What up?
In Midtown Manhattan.
Yes.
I'm sure it's a gorgeous, gorgeous, breezy day in New York City.
You are mistaken. You are looking at a different city's weather.
You don't know how to read a map.
I don't think you've ever read anything ever, if that's what you
New
think.
York City.
It is horrendous
It's
outside.
pretty slimy, isn't it?
It is disgusting. It's 90 degrees right now.
Yeah.
1,000% humidity.
Yeah.
It's so gross.
I think it's raining here
Yeah,
again.
it just started thunderstorming.
It's 90,
Oh, really?
but it's
Yeah.
raining. Yeah, so it's a really thick heat
Oh, yeah.
walking around. Yeah.
Yeah, it's real gross. Super, super nasty out today. My family's in town, so yesterday
Oh, right.
I picked them up. It's my sister, my niece, and my nephew, and the kids are 10 and 12, which is like cool because they're old enough to kind of they're fun right now. They're still a little annoying because they're little kids, but they're not like bratty teenagers.
You can
yet.
do stuff with them.
Yeah. So yesterday we went to the Statue of Liberty, and
Was it as advertised?
As advertised. This is my second time going. I
Oh.
have now donated $50 to the Statue of Liberty National
Right.
Park Fund. When Brian and his daughter were here, it was like late March, early April. So we didn't wait at all. We like bought a ticket, walked right onto the ferry, like nothing crazy. Yesterday, we were standing in not a cloud in the sky, 87 degrees. You fairy. Just baking in this line in the sun for like an hour and 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It was absolutely insane.
Heaven? Oh.
Insane. Because like we walked, like it's a decent walk from where you pick up the ticket to where you get on the ferry. We started walking and then within like 20 steps, there was people, and I was like, there's no way this is the line. And then that's exactly what it was. So it's like through a park, so there's parts of it that are shaded, but the majority of it, we were like, I'm sunburnt on my nose and my forehead and my shoulders, because it was just most of the day was standing in the sun, waiting to get on the ferry, standing in the sun on the ferry, and then walking around the statue was cool, but the kids were like, kind of over it. Like we took a couple pictures and they're like, okay, that was fun. What's next? You know?
Well, that's the trouble is when there's so much preamble of just waiting, then by the time you start moving around, you know, yeah, it's something to do, but it's not like these kids are history buffs.
No, not at all. It was a cool thing. They took some pictures. There's like a little museum that has like her replica foot and the size of her actual ear and like the original torch, which is cool.
Yeah.
But we were actually only on the island for like 45 minutes. And then, so it took us an hour and 40 minutes to wait in line to get to the island, like a 20-minute ferry ride over. And then we were probably in line to get back on the ferry home for another 45 minutes. So I was like, 3 hours of the day yesterday was literally just standing in the sun cooking.
Nice.
Yeah. And then today, they were like, let's go to Central Park. And I was like, love that. Let's go. And so we got into Manhattan early. I brought him up and showed him around the studio and took pictures of my niece and nephew sitting in the chair.
Oh, you took them up there.
Yeah, I took him up and showed him. And they don't know who like Elvis Duran is or, you know, the Breakfast Club. They've never heard of these things. But like, you know, it's cool. It's cool to be in a radio station. And then I walked them to Central Park and I was like, I'm going back to work. Like, because I was going to walk around with them for a couple hours. I was just like, I'm too hot and too chafed to do this 2 days in a row. Like, I'm just going to go into work a little early and sit in the air conditioning and have my
Remember
Starbucks.
that nice, cool studio we were in earlier?
Yeah.
Aunt Mare's going to go back to that.
You guys have fun.
Have fun in the
around.
ramble.
Yeah. It's
Wow.
hotter today than it was yesterday.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun though. It was cool. It's cool to have them here. The kids being 10 and 12. Like I said, they're old enough to like get it and appreciate it and like remember, you know? It's not like walking around a 5-year-old who's not going to know the difference anyway, which makes me feel better about waiting around, you know? I'm like, at least they're building memories together. Like,
And you can
remember-
goof with them and they,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, so yeah, it was very hot yesterday. It's even hotter today, and the humidity's higher today. So I really was going to try to walk around, but I'm like, it's Central Park. You guys will figure it out. You don't need me as a tour guide here. Like, they're not navigating the
Right.
subway. You know what I mean? They don't have to catch a cab to go anywhere. Like, go go mess around in the park for a few hours and I'll see you after work.
Right. Tavern on the Green.
Take care.
Go have lunch, something.
Well, that's what I was like. All the food carts are safe. You're not going to get sick. There's people selling mangoes. They just bought it at the grocery store and are selling it to you for more expensive. There's nothing wrong with
for
the
3
food.
times the price.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, so you don't have to be like afraid to eat anything. You're going to be fine. But yeah, you don't need my help today.
Well, it was much sunnier here this morning, and Gwen calls me about 11:30. Man, no, before that. She calls me maybe around 11, and she goes, hey, you want to meet us? We're coming downtown to go to the library because there's this art exhibit there called The Archive. I don't know if everybody's hip to that, but it's like 500,000 or 50,000, I don't know how many zeros, of these. It's this installation of this woman who dries these flowers and hangs them upside down from the ceiling. And they had been wanting to go to this for a while, and I said, okay, yeah, I'll meet you guys over there for that, right? Because they just cut through the Galleria or whatever that is, the Hilton there, and then you cross Superior, and you're over at the library. So I'm like, yeah, I'll walk over, meet you guys, and see my wife and my child, and we'll walk through this thing. Well, over on Superior, they're getting the sets ready to shoot Superman. They're doing the new Superman film in Cleveland. And so the crew, there's no cameras or anything, but they're getting all of the fake storefronts set up.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen some photos of them.
I posted a photo of one. It says Metropolis Sandwich Market. You know, they're shooting part of the...
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know if it's called Superman Legacy or whatever it is, but it's the new Superman, and they're shooting part of it in downtown Cleveland. And they were shooting some over Public Square. And then as I was meeting them right there at Superior and 6th, they're re-stenciling all of these storefronts to be, you know, the fake storefronts for the Superman film. So it's just crew people and set designers messing with all that. But it was really confusing for people who were walking down the street and trying to go into these stores, the actual stores, because there were sandwich board signs along Superior that say stores and businesses are still open, except they're papered over the windows because they're going to be putting up fake, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I don't know what they're doing, but it's like they're going to have all these fake restaurants and bars for whatever street scene they're going to be shooting in the Superman film. So you could visually look at people who were tourists walking down and trying to find a place that they had on their phone, and they had no idea. And the crew people, you know, a lot of them aren't local. They can't help them out. And so as I was waiting, just watching people kind of bump into each other, trying to find the actual stores that they were looking for there over on Superior. I'm sure it's a lot of fun for like the concierge over the Hyatt or whatever that is, Hilton Hyatt, whatever it is, probably explaining to people, well, this is a good news, bad news situation, right? The good news, it's fun. They're shooting a movie here soon and blah, blah, blah. The bad news is I have no idea what the real story you're looking for is because it's going to be Metropolis Deli for the next 2 weeks or whatever. But that installation over at the library is pretty cool for people. You know, you can walk through it in 10 minutes. And it's just dried flowers hanging upside down. But it's an interesting thing to see. It's called The Archive. I don't know how long it's in town, but for people who are, like our own Bill Squire, patrons of the arts, it's worth going in there and looking around.
I'm on record as not liking modern art. Well,
it's not modern art. I mean, it's dried flowers that are hanging from like this very thin copper wire. It's actually beautiful. I mean, if you walk through there, you kind of walk around the perimeter. There's a lane that goes through the middle of it that kind of bisects the installation. But it's just, it's all dried flowers. So there's really nothing complex about it. But I thought it was very interesting. I don't know that I would call it modern art. There was nothing... I don't think there's a message behind it or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
It's literally just something that you kind of walk through, and you're kind of
a neat collection.
Yeah, it's just kind of, you know, you kind of marvel at how long it probably took them to put together, and I don't know. Painstaking. There you go. I'm going to break here. I'll have Everclear tickets for you a little bit later on. Last 2 tickets to join us on the sold-out Cleveland Funny Bus tomorrow night. I'll be your host for that. Another shot for somebody to get qualified for this trip to Hawaii. They're giving away from Kona Brewing. We'll get to some hot celebrity goss later on with Perez Bilton. Want to text me for anything else, 35192, and we'll be back.
It's the Alan Cox Show. Everywhere on our free iHeartRadio app or whatever smart device you have.
Just tell me to play the Alan Cox Show on iHeartRadio.